I experienced premature ejaculation for more than 5 years. And even with that terrible condition that didn't let me fuck for more than 30 seconds, I actually managed to get into different relationships. And they were very special. The experiences that I had back then made me grow as a person and actually taught me a bunch of lessons. One of those lessons came from a year where things started to go a little bit more serious. And a topic was always coming up. The fact that I wasn't able to perform sexually was killing our relationship in different ways. In almost every other aspect of the relationship, things were great. But even with all that, it reached to the point where she said clearly, Jesus, I love you, but this will never work if sex can't be as good as our relationship. And as a premonition, it was one of the things that ended up taking our relationship to its end. If I wasn't sure before, when this happened, it made crystal clear a thought that I had for a long time in my mind. And that was that the only way to find and experience love at its fullest is through sex. My name is Snoya and I help men to last longer in bed, become sexually dominant and be more attractive. All this while avoiding the deadly mistakes that I made through my sex life. This comes from my medical background of being a medicine student and 5 years of struggling with things like premature ejaculation, performance anxiety and non-existent sexual confidence. Today I want to clarify how important is actually sex for love. And I'm not talking only about regular sex. I'm talking about having it as a soul-connecting experience and giving it the importance that it deserves in your life. Because I've been seeing lately, especially in the last couple of years, how people just keep detaching love from sex all the time, and even reach to the point of people saying that sex doesn't matter to have a healthy relationship, that if not that much of a deal, there are things that are more important, or even that is like old-fashioned and they don't like to practice it anymore. I also want to help you to increase the love and passion in your relationship, and with this in general, enjoy a happier and more fulfilling life. And just very quick, if you're experiencing things like premature ejaculation, performance anxiety, and if you want to accelerate the process to become a sex god and be the man of your life, go and click the link in the description right now. That way you can be in contact with me and we can work together to make that a reality as soon as possible for you. But now let's jump into the video. I consider myself as a lucky person for being able to know the importance of sex at the right time. When I was younger and I was having my first sexual experiences, one of them was a very beautiful and hot girl. But that wasn't the best part. The best part was that we really liked each other to almost the same level. The tension and the passion between us was insane. I remember her look full of love and excitement for being together and spending time with me. For me, it seemed like that kind of love and relationship that people usually just talk about in social media. I was living that, and because of that I was super happy. But unfortunately it didn't last that much. Like with other girls in the future, the same problem was going to make his first personification. My sex performance was absolute trash, and with premature ejaculation becoming stronger and more of a problem, the relationship started to feel it eventually. With each time of trying to have sex, I remember seeing how all that love, excitement and desire just started to disappear gradually until dying completely. Everything started with the way that she was looking at me. What once was the look of a girl in love, now was only full of disgust and frustration. I started to get depressed seeing this transformation, and my whole personality, confidence and self-esteem were completely destroyed. I was feeling basically now like a bitch all the time, and I was acting like that. With me being like this, plus the sexual problems, the relationship died. It couldn't end up different. After the breakup, we ended up seeing each other months after that, just like friends this time. She told me that she was dating other guys, and I saw that same excitement and joy again in her person, but this time with this guy. I knew that they ever slept together, and she was speaking about him in a way that never did about me before. That might fire in me how important was sex for a relationship. How even if you're the most attractive, rich, pure heart, charismatic, powerful or whatever, if you suck at sex, all that won't matter. Sex will always be one of the most important factors in your relationship and may even be a reflection of how healthy it is right now. Years after, the night that I finally overcame premature ejaculation, I remembered my words again. This time I was with a girl who I had very strong feelings for, and even with how nervous I was because of how my performance was going to be. When the session ended up, and this may sound gay, but I almost cried, because not only finally after years I was able to experience sex properly for the first time in my life, but the feelings and connection that I had with that person reached to a different level, a level that is even difficult for me to put in words. But just to put it in a simple way, it felt like the ultimate connection between us as individuals, as man and woman. Actually, in that moment, I remember telling this kid that those who say that sex is overrated, I'm pretty sure that people is just brain dead, or they just having sex wrong. Because when you experience this with someone that you really like and that you really care about, there's no experience like that in the world. Now, if you already have sex and it doesn't feel like this, And I'm pretty sure that something is wrong. With the example of what happened to my relationship, you can see that love cannot exist without sex, as we stated. But at the same time, sex cannot exist without love. At least real, enjoyable, and fulfilling sex. In the last few years, especially with this new approach that people is having around sex and relationships, and with a community that now has like 10 letters that you don't even know what they stand for, there was a group of people that was trying to take the importance out of sex. And also, as I said at the beginning, a big group that was trying to totally detach it out of love. And you know something funny? I was part of that last group. I experienced it myself, and I'm not going to lie, it's fun to have casual sex without attachment or commitments. But it's only fun in the same way that alcohol or smoking could be. It's just a hedonistic pleasure, like pleasure for the sake of pleasure. And even feeling pleasure, the reality is that it was absolute garbage. I didn't even like the gear really, and it felt absolutely wrong in my heart. And with all the people that usually defend casual sex over relationships or having sex with as many people as possible, there's a factor that I usually see, and that's that they're just not happy. Most of the time they have trashy relationships and aren't even happy with themselves. This happens because when love is taken out of sex, what people is doing then is just masturbating with each other's bodies. Of course that it can be fun, it can be pleasurable, but it isn't going to be fulfilling. It's always going to leave a void inside of you. It's like it's not reaching to your soul, and the more you practice it, the more you have sex like that, the more difficult it becomes for that to happen, so for you to feel something. With all this, and say you may think that I'm religious, I'm a Puritan, that I just want you to have sex until you're married, or whatever, right? But listen, I was able to experience both kind of sex, the one with love and the one that's just for fun, the casual one. And after being able to compare them, I just know that I will never see sex again in the same way. You don't necessarily have to like only serve yourself, or the woman is going to be the mother of your children, but at least try to make sex something special. Give it the importance that it deserves, and only have it with a woman that you really like, that you really have a strong feeling for. Because sex is a divine and sacred act. It's like you open your heart in front of the other person, showing who you really are. There are no social norms, no shame, no restrictions. It's just you and her sharing the present moment, sharing a bond and link that is exclusive for both of you as partners. And that is something that will last for a significant time, even if people want to say the opposite. If you don't believe me right now, I'm sure it's only because you haven't experienced sex in this way yet, or maybe that you haven't loved a woman like that before. But once that happens, and I know that it will happen, because if you're the person that watch these kind of videos, the kind of man that wanna level up as a lover and be a better person for his woman, in the moment that you experience that sex with love, I'm 100% sure that you will agree. If there is something that I want you to take out from this video, is that from now on, please just give the importance that it deserves and it needs, the love and sex in your relationships, both together as one thing. Because only focusing on that has the potential to make way more meaningful and enjoyable your sex life and relationships. And that is what I really wish for you. Remember that if you're experiencing things like too much ejaculation, performance anxiety, and if you want to accelerate the process for you to become a sex god and be the man of your life, go and click the link in the description right now. That way we can work together to make that a reality as soon as possible for you. But besides that, man, I really hope this helps you, and I'll see you later. Bye.